Why, hello, all you beautiful people out there. It's me, your bud, your pal, Chris Canoli. And I'm here again, alive, still probably, to bring you another video. That's right, another video. Now, the question you may or may not be asking is, Chris, where the hell have you been? And that's a very simple question. You see, I am under the category species of a college student. What does that entail? Well, let me tell you. Being a college student means that I have homework, papers, projects, tests, and lots of studying to do. And unfortunately, that doesn't leave me with a lot of free time to operate and do the stuff I want to do. Because I'm hoping that I can do this full time instead of going to college. Why? Because this stuff is fun, it's creative, and it's a hell of a lot better than sitting in a classroom for I don't know how many hours. Unfortunately, all this college makes me sleepy, and being sleepy means no work getting done, and no work getting done means no YouTube videos. So, unfortunately, I hate having to stream so much and not having enough content that isn't streaming. But just bear with me for now. Maybe we'll hit that marker and actually do YouTube full time. But for now, sleepy boy. And for today, as you've noticed, this isn't a live action skit. This is actually my first animation, so apologies if the drawings are appalling. But this is the style I know, this is the style I draw, so just bear with me. Currently, we're jerry-rigging it on Paint 3D. But, it's been serving me well for this animation, so eventually we'll make an upgrade, but it'll do for now. And today we're going to be talking about a subject that's near and dear to my heart, a subject that's been plaguing me ever since the day I was born up until this point. And what is it, you may or may not ask? Well, let me tell you. What we're going to be talking about is times I've encountered death. Oh, that's right. I can't say this word. Why? Because YouTube will instantly demonetize and kick me off their platform. Well, instead of saying the word that I cannot say, we're going to be labeling this something else. We're going to be calling this Close Encounters of the Reaper Kind. And trust me, this all makes sense much later, as my timestamps will also make sense much later. What I mean by timestamps is the way I'm going to be listing how long ago these events took place. Unfortunately, I don't remember the years, and honestly, I'd rather not ask my parents. So we're going to be going based off height difference, whether I was taller than my father, or taller than my mother, or in between the both, or taller than both, or shorter than both. Yes, yes, yes. Just get on with the show, and we will. Starting right now. Our first story takes place not so long ago, where I was taller, or still am taller, than both my parents. And this takes place on a beach. Which beach? I have absolutely no idea, as I fell asleep and didn't bother to ask. Now, me, I'm typically not one for going outside, but every single one of our vacations involves going outside. So, of course, we went to this beach. We did the stuff that you normally do in the beach. You get in the water, you have fun. You bring some toys along so you can have even more fun. Maybe a pool noodle or a beach ball. Well, we had fun, and it was honestly kind of fun for me, despite being a complete and utter shut-in neat. So the day went by. We got tired of playing with the toys, so we just ended up swimming. And swimming is fun and all, but it was all ruined. Ruined by my worst enemy, people. That's right, people. And these people happened to be scuba divers that were scuba diving on the most outer part of the beach. And let me tell you about this beach. This beach was a rather nice beach. It's not your typical beach that you see in LA, where the homeless berate you for money and assault you if you don't have any. And hypodermic needles are absolutely nowhere to be seen. And for once, the ocean smells like the ocean and not like somewhere where I'd rather not say, but really bad. So let me tell you something about myself. I'm what some might call a little bit territorial. I have my own personal space, you have your own personal space. If you intrude on my own personal space, I may or may not smack you in the face. And honestly, it should be common courtesy. If you have so much space where you can be, then you should be anywhere but right next to me. Unfortunately for these mongoloids, they apparently don't have the concept of space, and they do not respect it. So these scuba divers started drifting closer and closer, and I thought to myself, what are these idiots doing? And all of a sudden, I had a thought, that's right, your boy still thinks. I thought, I don't know. Maybe they just don't understand personal space. Maybe they want to harass me or touch me like Harvey Weinstein. But that's when I thought, there are some big waves here. I can get under them by swimming underneath. But unfortunately, these people would not let me. Why? I'll tell you. Well, these people had absolutely no concept of personal space, and this was a problem. A big wave was coming, and I couldn't swim underneath. And this one person, I'm not going to say the gender, it was a woman, an old Asian lady. I don't know if race or age matters, but just extra detail. Well, this particular individual was the one who was literally almost touching skin with me. And as that moment came closer and closer for the wave to come, I realized I had made a mistake. Why? Let me tell you. It went something along the lines of, Dear God. Oh no. Can anybody help me? Is there any way I could get out of this situation? Well, I've really messed up at this point. And that's when it dawned on me. These people were scuba divers. And unfortunately, they had scuba gear. And what did that also include? A goddamn oxygen tank. So what happened next was rather unpleasant. First off, I got smacked somewhere in the back of the head, maybe possibly my spine, with the goddamn oxygen tank. Why? Because this goddamn wave carried these people, and the small lady hit me with the force of goddamn Hercules. And by God, it hurt like goddamn hell. What happened next was as I tumbled around, incapable of moving due to just being smacked by what felt like a ton of brakes, aka an oxygen tank, my neck folded and hit the ground of sand. And unfortunately, this sand was not soft and sunk in. This was hard, coarse sand. Well, it wasn't coarse, it was wet, but you get the idea. So what happened next was something that only I could hear, something that went somewhere along the lines of the Rice Krispies logo, or the main characters. Snap, crackle, and pop. And Jesus, I had thought that I broke my neck and that was the end for me. So as I lay there in shallow water that I easily could have escaped from by standing up, I thought, this is a pretty bad way to go. Those yellow lines you're looking at right now on the screen, those are not hormone energy activating, nor is it electricity. As I lay there underneath, I thought, by God, this is how I go. I'm not even going to be turned into a vegetable. I'm just straight up going to end. Unfortunately, my save file got corrupted, so I'm incapable of loading it. So this is the end of the end. Goodbye, my love, goodbye, my friends. I will see you all when I am buried 6 feet under. And in that moment, I thought, this is a pretty bad way to go. Out of all the ways I thought, going out like Bruce Willis, or that one guy who flew his ship into the alien ship in Independence Day, I never thought that getting smacked in the back of the head by an air canister and almost snapping my neck against the sand was the way that was going to happen. Well, at least they better play my playlist at the funeral and have some good Dr. Pepper. And that's when it happened. Somebody grabbed me. I don't know who. I don't know who. I know how because they obviously use their hands. and this was a pretty strong grip. And I had run out of oxygen, and everything started to go darker and darker and darker as I suffocated by getting drowned in water that even a toddler could stand up and survive in. And then everything went dark. I still don't know if it was just me closing my eyes, accepting that that was going to be the end game for me, or if it's because I literally passed out by having too much water in my lungs. I'll never figure it out, and hopefully I never do figure it out, because that means I'd have to go through the same process again. So, no thank you. The next thing I knew, I was on dry sand. Dry sand, dry sand, says the mariner. I lay there with my eyes closed. I could still see the sun's light glowing through my eyelids. And I thought to myself, did we do it? Am I still alive? Or maybe this is how you start an isekai. Except instead of getting hit by a truck, you ended up drowning because some idiot, let's change that word, some idiots couldn't understand the concept of personal space and entering another person's territory. Territory? Territory. Toiletory. Territory. As I opened my eyes, I was anxious to see. Was it the people with the scuba gear? Did they feel bad? Did they come back and save me after their wrongdoings? And said, I injured a child. It's time for me to rectify my situation. But goddamn no, humans are not as kind as you think. Or at least the ones I've met certainly aren't. No, it goddamn wasn't. My mom at some point acquired the strength of goddamn Hercules, and she managed to pull me by my shoulders all the way back onto dry sand. And my dad stood there over me, just with his usual blank motionless expression. And I thought, well, at least I didn't go. At least I get to see my family again. At least I get to hear my mom complain about how video games is going to turn me into an utter disappointment. Well, she's not far off now. And my dad, well, my dad is just dad, so nothing there. I couldn't really move anything below my neck, but I could somewhat tilt my head, and that's when I saw all those mongoloids with their scuba gear were making a break for it. These were older people that were older than my parents, but still not older than my grandpa. And all I could think was, these guys are goddamn bastards. I should massage their face with my fist quite a bit. Unfortunately, I couldn't move because these goddamn cucks decided to paralyze me. At least I didn't end up like Professor X. I'm still capable of motion, but some still question if my brain works 100%. Even I don't know the answer to that question. But let me tell you, at that moment, I was rearing for a fight. It was going to end up in a bloody storm. And I was going to obliterate them off the face of the earth and send them to the shadow realm. Unfortunately, my hormone decided to stop working, so I had to rest on the beach and recuperate and get my breathing under control. And that's the end of that story. Moving on, folks. Our next tale takes place in between being taller than my mother, but still shorter than my dad. So that might have been either at the beginning of high school or end of middle school, somewhere around there. Our family used to take Saturday hikes early in the goddamn morning, like about 6 o'clock, to the mountains. We are mountain people. We live near a mountain. We're nowhere near the base, but, it's probably like somewhere close. I'm not going to say times because some of you people on the internet are goddamn ace detectives at figuring out stuff based off of small clues. So we went to this mountain, and this mountain has multiple trails, but our favorite is the one that leads to the waterfall. And here we go. This is a very nice waterfall. The water is very clear at the top, but let me tell you, when it hits the bottom, it turns into water that equals the level of clarity as that of Mogadishu. And preferably, I prefer to stay disease-free, so I never go for a swim. But otherwise, it's a nice walk. The water's nice to look at, to feel the coolness from it. And they got a little bit of shrubbery and plants that look nice. So, of course, I'm the biggest brain in our entire family. I'm just kidding, I'm probably one of the dumbest. You see, the problem is we usually take rocks across to get back home. It's the fastest way, but it's also somewhat dangerous. And unfortunately for me, the river was a lot higher this winter than it usually is, because during any other season, it's almost next to dry. But no, the water decided, hey, we're actually going to exist this year. And I told my parents, maybe we should go the longer way around. Maybe we shouldn't go down the path that might end up, breaking one of our necks. But you know what usually happens in our household? Nobody listens to me. Absolutely nobody, until they fail and realize, maybe Chris was right. I'm usually the mayor of I Told You Town, and let me tell you, for this instance, I definitely became the mayor of I Told You Town, as they ignored me and told me, Chris, shut up and let's cross the rocks. So we crossed that river, goddammit. And my mom has little regard for me and my health and well-being until after I get injured. So she crossed, and she was like, hurry up, guys, come on! And I was in no mood to be getting hurried on, and neither was my dad, as the rocks were slippery, as they usually are when they're wet. Unfortunately, slippery rocks means you may or may not fall. And because of my bad luck, that may not turn into a goddamn you will fall. So I goddamn slipped on a rock. And I saw that I was headed for a sharp rock. A rock that I had previously used as a stepping stone was now going to be my downfall. And again, I'm sorry for these next two images as they're foul to look at. I just don't have the time to retrace them and make them look nice. So I fell, and I accepted my fate, and all of a sudden, time stopped. The world got activated, and something pretty incredible happened. Something grabbed me real fast. And when I say real fast, I mean that was like, damn, that was Star Platinum fast. That was an A-tier statistic fast. And you know what it was? My father. My father somehow managed to activate his abilities and act lightning fast. So he saved me from having my neck broken by a rock that hated me for stepping on it earlier. And I got back on my feet. My socks were soggy now. Part of my shorts were also soggy. But I was still alive. And my mom did not care or bat an eye at this point. All she said was, let's head home so we can have some breakfast. And I thought, this better be the breakfast of goddamn champions because I deserve it. That's right, me and me alone. I'm sorry, Pa, you also deserve the breakfast of champions. That was some pretty good reflexes for someone in their 40s. Moving on, next story. Our next story takes place somewhere in middle school, I think. All I know is that I was shorter than both of my parents at this point. And it was goddamn awful. When you're even shorter than your parents, nobody believes you when you're the mayor of I Told You So Town. I have absolutely no idea how to ride a skateboard. Why is it, you may or may not ask? Well, here it is. I have no balance. I'm more of a forceful guy than I am for balance and accuracy. For all I know, the code to learning how to ride a skateboard might have been up, up, down, down, left, right, BA, start. But I'll never know, and I hope I never will, because I absolutely hate skateboards. I always fall down, I always scrape something, and it always hurts for too long. So, yeah, skateboards absolutely suck. Skateboards. I turned my back on skateboards. And with this event, I hated them even more than I already did. Let me tell you, I got this one friend named Marcus. I still talk to him to this day. The man has the stamina of frickin' Atlas. As long as you give him food, he can last forever and ever. Why this happens, I don't know, and I'm utterly terrified of it. Well, one day, Marcus has a bright idea as we're heading home. He whips out a skateboard out of his backpack and says, "You know, I found an extra skateboard on the way home. You should take it. I'll teach you how to ride. I know you hate them, but I assure you, it can't be all that bad." I looked at that skateboard and I thought about all the pain and misery it caused me, and why I'll forever be sticking to bicycles. Except I absolutely hate bicyclists because they don't understand the concept of sharing the road. This goes back to my territory argument. The skateboard, in my opinion, is the devil reincarnated. Not video games, not people doing stuff that people don't approve of, but it's goddamn skateboards. Obviously, as the smartest person out there, I greedily and hastily said, "Goddamn no," to the skateboard. I will not ride it here or there, I will not ride it anywhere. But of course, this isn't a perfect world. I'm a goddamn idiot sometimes. So I said, "Give me that skateboard, little girl. Let's shred some metal," or I don't know what you shred skateboards with. Cheese? No, cheese is too good for a skateboard. I'll figure it out later. Everything was kind of going fine and dandy. I was wobbling, but I still didn't break my legs or scrape something. So I thought everything was all fine and well. Until we finally came across a driveway to a home. And as you know, a driveway connected to a, what do you call them, a sidewalk? It kind of dips in, like the way an ice cream scooper does. As I approached it, I looked down and realized, maybe this isn't a good idea. Maybe I should get off the skateboard. Maybe I should walk it until we hit solid concrete again that doesn't dip. But of course, I'm an idiot, so I went along and decided, let's shred some cheese. What happened next, in my opinion, I don't recall. All I know is something happened. I went higher than an average person should be in the air, and I came back down like a goddamn hurricane does. My happiness was gone. My sadness came down, and it's made me the person I am today. From what my buddy Marcus says, the skateboard slipped out from under me and I just landed on my back. I'm absolutely never trusting him with skateboards ever again. While up in the air, I shut my eyes tight. Hopefully I didn't turn into Professor X or even worse, VeggieTales. But who knows what the future held for me at that point. All I know is I was somewhat scared and also concerned. Who's gonna delete my internet history? I opened my eyes, finally on the ground. My friend Marcus was standing over me, offering me some of his Gatorade, asking, "Hey, you alright? Come on, you're alright." And no, I was not goddamn alright. Because something hurt. Something was wrong. Something, goddamn, was wrong with me again. At that moment, my lungs didn't seem to be working properly. It was as if they were airbags, but they got stabbed, so all the air was leaking out. They didn't feel right. Those bags were being deflated. Something pierced it. Something dark side. It was as if holes had opened up, and all the air was escaping, so I was incapable of breathing and keeping my brain alive. So I struggled, heaved, huffed, and puffed, and I totally could not even blow a house down. Unfortunately, at this time, flex tape wasn't as big as it is now. You couldn't just buy it from any 7-Eleven. It wasn't available at any grocery store you went to. It was a rare commodity. No one even knew about it. So we couldn't just take some of that godly stuff and just slapping on my lungs. As I lay there on the ground, my friend telling me that I had the wind knocked out of me, I thought, I really hate you right now. You should probably shut up. This was all your idea. And my mind drifted to something else. Helmets and safety gear. Should always wear a helmet, kids. Those things really do save lives. And now one question remained as I lay there on the ground, suffocating. Why wasn't my head split open like an egg getting cracked open for breakfast? Why was I still able to function? Why isn't my head clipped on the concrete? And why am I still able to think for myself, as I thought to myself? As I said before, flex tape was a very rare commodity. No one knew about it, so we couldn't just patch myself up. We'd have to take a ride to the ambulance. Take an ambulance ride to the hospital. And that'd leave a very odd question for my parents to start asking. How'd this happen? How'd this happen? Well, you see, my idiot of a friend decided to teach me how to skateboard, knowing I'm incapable of riding a skateboard, but I still agreed and clipped my head on the concrete. The answer was my karate training. That's right, despite being rather lazy and incapable of doing certain physical activities, I used to do karate, and I was pretty good at it too, I think. Or at least that's what I've been told. Something they teach you is when you fall down, you're supposed to tuck your chin into your chest. And by God, I mastered that technique. For an entire day, for 2 hours, I just kept falling down and tucking my chin in. So, maybe practice does make perfect, kids. You can learn something from me. And I survived the day. I went home, did the regular stuff, and got on with my life to live out 2 more experiences. There's a lot more experiences like this. So, if you like this type of stuff, you could always drop a like somewhere down below. Comments and... Great Scott, what is that? Is that the Grim Reaper? Ah. So that's why we're trying to make genetically engineered cat girls. Oh, hey there. It's me, your boy, Chris Cannoli. And that's right, I'm still alive to this day, I think. And who knows? Maybe this is the end. Maybe there's no more after this. But for now, I appreciate you guys coming by to watch my first animated jerry-rigged video on Paint 3D. So if you like the video, drop a like. If you don't like it, you drop a dislike or go home and, play a video game you like. And subscribe and hit that bell notification so you'll know when I do a live stream next, because Borderlands 3 comes out this Thursday and I'm going to be waiting, ready to live stream that shit. It's all going to be good stuff, much like the food and drink I have right here in front of me. The good company I have with me at the moment. So either way, thank you guys for dropping in and being my neighbor. So, like, subscribe, hit that bell notification if you want to see more. And stay frosty out there, my guys. And I'll see you dudes on the other side of the day. End.